2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Celestial greetings, everyone. Sorry for the testing again. Technical challenges, we shall say. So, cleared the energy. We're going to talk a little bit and then we will do a reading for this special day. We've got Mars going into what in Greek is called Ophiuchus, but in true terms, in real terms, his name is Obeah, which is known as the serpent bearer, who is also connected with the wounded healer. So we've got Mars, the planet, going into this constellation of Obeah, and most of you are saying who's Ophiuchus and who's Obeah. We will get to that shortly. So we've got Mars, who is representing the spiritual warrior. This is the force that we'll say is most known for transforming raw personal desire into something that can be more aggressive if you are in an unbalanced state. So Mars is usually, can be aggressive. It's about desire and sometimes conflict, and it can be used at this time for a great transmutation of the alchemy that is going on right now with this moving into Obeah, the wounded healer. So we got this opportunity to change, to transmute, to move the energy, to bring some cohesiveness to your desires and move up to the next level, because Obeah is like the higher level, is actually the 13th sign if you are paying attention to what is actually in the sky, not an arbitrary placement or an arbitrary moment. So Mars is again about the yang, so this Mars is like the divine masculine, and whereas Venus would be considered the divine feminine. So he's connected to the root chakra, so we've got a lot of red energy, a lot of passion, a lot of desire going on right here. So now we have the chance to change that and do some healing of that and move your divine masculine energy up to the next level. So usually when you see Ophiuchus, we won't say Obeah. We're still working on the actual image, but usually see him standing holding a serpent. And this is significant because this is usually connected to the Kundalini energy, which is also about your vital life force and moving the energy, the chi or the ki, depending on what system, the prana, depending on what system you are using. So this is the opportunity to get some movement going and to bring some healing, because if you listen to the other message, we talked about healing and health at this time. So this is something that is going to be prevalent. So the Obeah sign is usually connected with healing, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually, and also connected to hidden knowledge. So this could be a veil, could be an opening for those of you who are interested to delve into that realm, because Obeah is also seen as the bridge between worlds. So we got a veil because of Obeah and Scorpio they occupy the same space per se, if you're looking at an astrological chart. But Obeah is more like the higher octave of Scorpio. So we've got this higher knowledge, this higher understanding, this higher level of transmutation that can take place. So, to go back to the beginning, we'll talk about the different types of astrology that we have. Because originally it was all astronomy, and then we'll talk about that another time, but then with certain advancements, there was a separation between astronomy and astrology. So we'll talk about astrology today, we'll talk about astronomy another day. So we have tropical astrology, which most of you are probably familiar with. And this is just based on the seasons. And it always starts with the spring equinox, which they determined as 0 degrees Aries. That's what they call it, regardless of what is going on in the sky. And each of the houses, if you know about astrology, is an equal 30 degrees. Okay? So then we have standard sidereal, which also starts at a fixed point. So it's not based on the constellations. It's just like tropical astrology, it's a fixed point based on the Ayanamsha. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I'll have to check with that and get back to you. And it also uses a sign house. Oh my gosh, I'm lost. I'm sorry. It also measures the houses with an equal 30 degrees. And then we have true sidereal astrology, which is what the original purpose was. It was based on your placement, based on the map of the sky at the moment you were born. So true sidereal uses the actual astrological constellations that are visible in the sky. And because of the movement of the earth through the sky, through the galaxy, and the tilt of the earth on its axis, we have the precession of equinoxes. So the date is going to change each year. So in true sidereal astrology, most people will be falling under the previous sign than what they think, which accounts for why some people may not connect totally and completely with the astrological readings that they get. So the Ayanamsa is the movement that is used that differentiates tropical astrology from sidereal astrology. It's also based somewhat on the precession of equinoxes, but it doesn't use the actual constellations in the sky. It uses a fixed starting point in the sky relative to the alignment of the stars. And it's a calculation that has to be figured out, and this is common with systems used in India. So back to what we were talking about. So we have the true sidereal, which is what I deal with. If you're interested in reading, information will be in the little box. But as I said, so, each of the constellations has a different size, so it's not every sign is 30 degrees, because, like, for instance, Virgo is actually about 45 degrees, and Scorpio is really only about 7 degrees, so there's a big difference. So you could vary differently, if you were born at, like, in between November and December, you could be one of 3 signs with a high propensity of being more so a Sagittarius than a Scorpio or an Obeah, because of the size of the constellations. So, sorry. Okay, so what we have is the reason for this is that when they were creating the calendar, a lunar solar calendar, to make it easier mathematically speaking, they did not decide to include Obeah in the system, because they had a 12-month lunar solar calendar, as opposed to the fact that the reason why, you talk about how there's maybe a blue moon or a black moon at times, because one being when there's an so-called extra full moon in a 30-day period, or an extra new moon in that 30-day period. But based on the rotation of the sun and the moon, you have actually around a 28-day cycle of the moon going through each of the planets, so that would align with the 13 moons that we actually have in a 13-month year, based on the movement of the moon. So, because they did not want to deal with the not having so-called mathematical precision or symmetry, they didn't want to deal with 13 signs, because they wanted to have everything fit neatly into their little boxes. But just because they fit in the little boxes does not make this true. So anyway, we've got this great opportunity right now, because Mars is in a fucus tonight. If you get this timeless message after tonight, this night is the night that it is happening. So this is the time to set your intentions, get your thoughts together, to do some healing on your divine masculine, and transmute any of those energies that may not be in alignment, that may be too aggressive or too passionate, as in, not that passion is an issue, but in making sure that you are balanced in this aspect, that you are balanced in your desires, that if there is any healing, if you are imbalanced, this is a perfect time to get some balance back into your life. So this is the time when we can losing my words here. We can, again, heal what may be unhealed, because Mars is the warrior, and sometimes he just rushes in, and Ophiuchus Obeah being the healer. This is a time where, when that spiritual warrior is rushing in there, we can, calm him down, like, wait, let's back up a minute and rewind, do some things, and be more connected to being balanced. This is also a good time to do some shadow work if you have imbalances at that time of any type. It's a good time because with Obeah being activated, it's a good time to tap into that, to tap into your intuitive knowledge, to think before acting, to instead, respond in a balanced manner, to be conscious of how you are working to grow with your divine masculine, to use this energy of this opening, this in-between time, this veil opening, because Obeah is connected to the veil. So with this opening, you can use this as an opportunity for growth, for transmutation, and to bring balance back to our divine masculine and work on creating this space where we can all balance our divine masculines and connect that with our balanced divine feminine, and get everything, this planet, this world, this environment, this energy back in alignment with a more harmonious planet, we shall say, at this time. So if you hold on for a second, we're going to get ready and we're going to pull a couple of cards or see how, we'll just see. So hold on, we'll be back.